today we will going to discuss chapter 1, which is business analyst in a nutshell. So what is the business analyst? This is the very introductory session of with business analyst. So if I ask you what is the business analyst, what will be your approach? So there is a International Institute of Business Analysts. They have the definition. I can read it to you. Business analyst is a person defines the business analysis as the set of the tasks, techniques used to work as a liaison among the stakeholders in order to understand the structure, policies, and operation of the organization and recommended solution that enable the organization to achieve its goal. So what does it mean? So business analyst is a person who will going to communicate through stakeholders and whatever their requirement and whatever they want to achieve any kind of business problem. Business analyst will come up with a technique to provide the solution of that particular problem. So it will going to create policies, understand the structure, and it will go into operations as well of any organization. So policies, structure, operation, all those things are related to documentation. So as a business analyst, that is your responsibility to make stakeholders happy, keep on the track the entire project, make control over the project, what's going on, what's happening, what is working what, and who is working what, right? That is your primary goal for being a business analyst, to provide that particular solution. Right? So set the goals. First of all, set the goals. You have to set the checkpoints. So because of you are setting goals and everything, break down all the tasks and things and all the checkpoints into small agile manner. The person who is working on some certain task or some certain story point, that person has a limited scope of understanding to achieve that particular target, rather than think about I need to climb Mount Everest. Do you know how they climb Mount Everest? The mountaineers. So they want to climb Mount Everest. Mount Everest is the highest peak in the world, right? It is the not man-made highest peak in the world. So if you want to climb Mount Everest, you will not going to rush to Mount Everest on a single day or single month or something. So there is a checkpoint, there is a Guru Shikhar, there is a checkpoint 1, checkpoint 2, checkpoint 3. The n number of checkpoint would be Mount Everest. So all the mountaineers, all the climber will go there for Guru Shikhar. Then they come back. They will going to get comfortable for the atmosphere, because oxygen is very less over there and air is also thin. So your lung has to used to those kind of atmosphere. So they will go there, they will come back, they will go to another checkpoint, they will come back. So they will do this kind of exercise quite a lot, and once their body get comfortable, then they will go to the Mount Everest. So it is a very agile process. If I give any example, anybody's example, this is the agile methodology. They will break down everything, so they don't have to worry about climbing Mount Everest. They only have to worry about, I want to go to Guru Shikhar, I just want to go to checkpoint 1. I just want to go to checkpoint 2. That is their problem at that, right? If it if they think about, oh, I have to go Mount Everest, man, it's the highest peak in the world. So then they will have that kind of pressure in their point, right? Smaller things, right? So you can achieve it at a long run. So in a very simpler manner, I would say a business analyst work as a liaison among the stakeholders in order to elicit, analyze, communicate, validate requirements for changes to the business process, policies, information system. The business analyst understand the business problem, opportunity in the context of the requirements, and recommended solutions that enable the organization to achieve its goal. The ultimate goal for a business analyst to achieve that particular project and it has to be accurate as per decided. All the functionality has to be included. All the functionality has to be working correctly. There shouldn't be any bugs or issue associated with that. So you are the person outside of the bug because you are not the expert of the thing, right? You don't need to be an expert. You don't need to be expert of any system, how the AI process will going to work, right? How to build the AI system, that is not your cup of tea to understand, right? But you have to make a recommended solution, whatever the requirement we have, whether they are able to finish it or not. That is the must do thing right now. But but if you are not able to make that document properly, what is the downside of that? You are not able to monitor it, first of all, not yourself. And then you have to communicate, not yourself, but you have to communicate throughout the all stakeholders. In one project there are multiple stakeholders. You have to align everybody, you have to communicate. If somebody asks me that what is business analyst, I would say that business analyst is a person who talk within a team, who most of the time talk within a team. He or she arrange the meetings with stakeholders and with team as well, and line up the entire project. Just like project manager, he has a little bit different uh, uh, what is it called, roles and responsibility. He has a different responsibility. Project manager has to make sure that project has we have sufficient money, we have sufficient manpower to complete this project, and he also monitor that whatever is updating or whatever is developing is in a correct manner according to the requirement, right? But you have to make sure whatever the project manager is doing, whether he is working correctly, or whether he will say that this feature is working, but you have to make sure whether it's working or not working. You have to see the demo, everything. You will going to make sure. Liaison among the stakeholders, let's talk about this. The business analyst acts a bridge between the business subject matter expert, so we call it SME. How to subject matter experts. Experts. So subject matter experts are the people who knows about something. So subject matter expert would be technology expert, would be the business expert, who understand inside out about the business, who understand the inside out about the technology. You don't have to be subject matter expert. If you do understand, that is good. That is being a business analyst, and if you do understand a technology a little bit, that would be really good, really nice. If somebody is throwing something at you, then you can debate, no, this is not the way to do it. There's a different way to do it, if you do understand. but most of the time you don't have to be. You may ask, why don't the business, SME, and technology work together and create solution? Right? There are two SME. One is business subject expert, and one is technology subject expert. Why they required business analysts to fill the gap? Because they both speak a different language. Business people will speak business language, and technology speak technology language, and it is hard to fill the gap. They don't understand, and sometimes you find a very rigid business people to make them understand about the technology. Sometimes you feel like they are dumb or something. So because of that, business analysts have to illustrate all the things whatever they are developing or whatever they are doing. They means all the tech SME. They have to, you have to illustrate in a very simpler manner, so business SME will understand that thing. That is your part of job. That's why you are working as a bridge between them. SME is a person with what is it called, expertise. Yes. So no, most of the time subject matter expert is a person who is expertise in the system. So probably the architect or senior architect who decide that let's build some system. Let's take the example of PayPal. So PayPal program manager or a COO or CTO wants to enhance their performance of the payment. They want to save some couple of seconds and bring that thing, um, you know they want to actually enhance their payment process by saving time and create a expedite performance, so they can save more time and do the transaction in a number of few seconds. First of all, do you understand or do you know about PayPal, what they do? Yes, that is right. Yes, in a very general, this is right. So PayPal want to enhance their procedure, right? Enhance their what is it called, the payment procedure, and make sure that it will going to happen quite speedy, speedingly, or performance enhancement, you can call it. So what happened when they are doing that? That there, any CTO or some CFO will going to come up with this idea that let's do it. We know this is time we have to do it. I can see in the business, there are some other companies they are doing that, and they are doing quite a good business. So this is a disadvantage for us. So we have to do, take some action and rewrite our existing process and make sure we are able to do it in a very fast manner. So once that project set, CTO will not going to come up with the idea, right? CTO manage the entire portfolio of the company. They are not the person who will going to provide the solution, right? So what happened? There is an architect or something, senior architect. He will going to provide the solution. Let's design a project in a some particular way, so we are able to enhance this process. So he will going to come up with some cloud transaction solution or something like that. It will going to change some algorithm as well, so it will going to enhance the process, right? So that guy, that person is working as a SME for technology, right? For this particular project. Yes, architect. But architect may not able to understand those business people, right? So you need a one more person to understand all the business people. Yes, which is business analyst. This is you. This is developer. This is testers. Are you able to see, right? This is PM. PM is project manager. This is stakeholder. SH. Stakeholders. This is architect. Business SMEs, right? And this would be why end user is necessary. Malam. So suppose we are taking example of Tesla, right? Tesla is building a car. So if they are building a car, then how can I make sure that end user is included in some project? Yes. Yes, there is a team. That's a team of a dedicated person who is a representative of users. They do a lot of surveys. They talk with the people, and then after they will do it or represent them. So over here, in a way, this is a very ugly design, but this is how I design everything. I'm not a good designer. So over here, you can see the centerpiece of jewel is business analyst. All of the other people are pointing towards to business analyst. Sync up with business analyst, developer, tester, project manager, stakeholders, architectures. end user, business, SME people, everybody. So business SME would be the program manager or a portfolio manager. Portfolio manager would be a CTO, COO, or CEO, I guess, all of them. And what's coming out of business analyst is coming out as a solution, right? So it is your part of the job that you will going to provide solution for everything. So that is the thing I want to show you, that what business analyst will do. Business analyst will going to provide a solution for all complicated problem, and he is working as a bridge between all of the people associated in any project, right? So this is the thing, right? Right. So let me remove this. Is there other way I can remove? Do you understand, right? Did you take a note or anything? It's better to take note every time, because otherwise you will forget. Human mind, your memory fades away. Yes, please. Let me make it bigger, bigger, bigger. That is not bigger. Control Alter minus plus plus. Are you able to see, right? No, it's not necessary right now to see me. It is necessary right now to see this thing. Yeah, I'm trying to make something. I have to make it 9 to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8. So I'm not going to write everything over here, but I will going to tell you and then write. Okay, so that's the way. So business analyst life cycle. This is the first thing. This is a business analyst life cycle. This would be your thing, for any of the business analyst. It would be same. This is where you are going over and over again and again. The first thing is to understand the business. Understand, not able to write. This is the number one thing. And to understand the business, this is the first step to delivering the solution to a business problem. or opportunity. It involves studying the product or service provided by the organization. So suppose we will going to stick with some of the example during the training. Suppose you are working for Tesla. You are working as a BA for a Tesla company. So to understand the business, what do you understand? You know what Tesla does? Did they make only vehicles? No, they don't make a vehicle for space. Tesla is the company which provide the alternate solution or energy solution for any customer. So Tesla make vehicle, that portion is correct. They make electric vehicle, which is the alternate. If we use a hydrocarbon vehicle, this is the alternate solution, alternate energy vehicle, which will going to run on the roads. They also make energy equipment, solar panels for houses or a business, and they also own the charging station, which is powered by their solar panels. So they have an alternate energy business, or green energy business. And space thing, that is a different company which found by Elon Musk. That is SpaceX. Tesla is different company. He is founder of one of them. He didn't found Tesla. He is CEO of both of the company. He is a CEO of probably four companies right now. So that is your first step whenever you are doing something. To understand, a business analyst needs to understand the market that the business is trying to supply its product. To do this, he or she has to identify who is the target customers for the product and services of the business. Some business are working as a B2B, right? Do you know what is B2B? B2B means business to business solution. So some company are providing or working with only business. They don't provide solution or do any kind of any kind of provide a service or product to directly the end user or a person. So let's take an example of B2B uh, B2B company. It's called TCS. Let's take an example of TCS. TCS is providing the solution for all the businesses, software solution, right? They provide the service. They don't have any product. They provide the solution, services. So they don't provide a solution for any single person. They only provide solution for the businesses. That is their area of expertise. So you have to understand who is the customer. You know, you are playing for some music for somebody. You have to understand who is your audience. That is the first thing, right? The second point is identify the business need. Identify the needs, or I can say goals, right? The business needs are the goal or objective of the project or solution. In this process, the BA communicate with the customers or the end user to identify in the previous process to gather their needs, understand and why they want this project. This process is also called creating a business case. This is also called as a business case. This is a superb example of a we talk about it, PayPal, right? So PayPal want to enhance the process. It is not like CEO was sleeping or CTO was sleeping and he has the idea that let's make it faster. They have some feedback loop in their product where all user will going to provide their feedback, and somebody say your process is very lame and takes too much time. So where business analyst will going to work with user feedback and understand what is a necessary to do to achieve some, what is the business need right now. So this kind of structure will going to come in place where you are working as a BA as a full time, right? For project to project in our business, our model, it is not applicable all the time, but when you are going to ace this game, it will be applicable. So you have to work not as a whatever the assignment or whatever the project you will going to do, you will going to create the project, initiate the project, identify the business need. You will going to set this is right thing to do right now. You will going to take a we will become a decision maker over here, right? Yes, yes. Why we need that? Why do we need to do that, right? In the business, there has to be something about it. The third is define the project scope. We will going to talk about it in the detail, in the following chapter, but this is a very simpler life cycle so you can understand, introductory session. So what do we understand by scope? That is correct, right on the point. You are really good with explaining the things in a very simpler way. This is a very good advantage, or you have. So scope is a limited of a view of a certain things. So suppose you have to do a project, you have to define all the boundaries, right? Don't go outside of the boundaries. That is your objective, and that is your responsibility as a business analyst to enforce this objective inside a team. Somebody is really excited and they want to develop three, four, five things. That is not a you know identified scope. There is a border. Nobody has to cross that particular border. So before BA can begin and elicit actual requirement, he or she needs to ensure that the high level scope project is clear and complete. A complete project scope will be describe all the parties that are involved in the project. All the parties means all the stakeholders. A complete project scope will be described. This includes people, team members, system, internal department, vendors, customer, everybody. It should also include the high level description of project goal, risk. Risk is also there, right? If you do something, there is a risk involved. There is a budget. Without money, nobody can do anything. You will not also going to work, right? Without money. Budget. No, risk can be anything. Risk can be, suppose we are doing this, and if this is fail, then all whatever the money and time the entire project has invested, would be go away. Risk would be, you are building a car with Tesla with 300 miles of range, and its competitor come up with 400 miles of range, right? So there is a risk associated with that. If you go with that particular set scope, then your product will going to fail, because nobody will going to buy 300 miles of range, because with electric car, range is a very huge factor, whether it's a kind of a deal maker or deal breaker with the electric cars, right? So risk, we can say these kind of risk. Budget is a separate thing. Budget is a separate thing. So it has included, what included in the scope: project goals, risk. These are the points: project goals, risk, budget, schedule, assumptions, business process. These five things, or six things, is included in the project scope. So assumption is everybody has a 400 4 kilogram of brain. Everybody, all human. So when you talk with somebody, they have some assumption. They assume something. Let's assume something. Everybody assumes something. So as a business analyst, you will going to pitch some ideas or some thought process to stakeholders, so they can assume in a very positive manner. They don't assume false things, or things which is not discussed, or any kind of miscommunication happen. So that is your part of the job, to provide the right assumption, plant an idea in the people's mind. That is a huge thing. So as a business analyst, you have to do it, because that is a part of your job, right? Understood? Business scope, project scope. The fourth point, let's talk about fourth point. Fourth point is elicit the requirement, right? Elicit all the requirements. So this is the process, main role of the business analyst. This is the main center point. Requirements is the your main mojo as a business analyst. It is absolutely critical that the business analyst elicit the business requirement accurately, so there would be no false assumption. Define a software solution, eliciting requirements in an interactive process. So you have to interactive process means what? You will going to do arrange a meeting. So nobody will going to tell you when you join the project. Nobody will going to tell you that, oh please, business analyst, join the meeting. You are the person will going to create meetings. You will going to talk with the people. You have to chase people to talk with you and understand those things and elicit all the requirements. So what whenever you, just an example, you are working with a Tesla, you are going there as a business analyst, and they have a project to build a 300 miles range of vehicle. Let's call it model 3. It is a cheap vehicle which everybody can buy. Well, I cannot say cheap, it is affordable vehicle, so everybody can buy. It is not cheap. So what you will going to do, you have to chase all the people, all the business people, all the stakeholders, and talk with them, and then after create a document which will going to elicit the requirement, and you have to show them, these things I understand from your perspective, and if they approve, then you will go ahead. So some of the technique, we will going to talk about it in a later part of the training. This is a huge topic, this is not a small thing, but this is just an introduction. But some of the techniques I will going to tell you about it. uh, for as a BA, what you need to do. The first thing is interview with stakeholders. As I told you earlier, you have to talk with the people. You will going to schedule the meeting, and then you talk one on one, or with team. Facilitate the information gathering session. Then you will going to create another meeting with a information gathering session where we will going to interact with the team, get all the information in the document. Survey and questionnaires. You have to ready with your survey and questions, and not just like throwing bunch of questions. Right question to the right person. You have to think before you speak. Observation of a stakeholders performing their task. You have to see that how they behave. They means stakeholders. What is their lifestyle? How they if they are in good mood or bad mood or something like that. So because sometimes some stakeholders that is not their main job to give you or provide all the requirements or talk with you about the project. That main job is different, but you have to find the right time to talk with a person. So you have to see that whether that person how they are working, how they are doing, something like that. Whether that person like formal approach, informal approach, whether he wants to talk while you go with lunch with him or something like that. So those kind of things. Study of existing system and documentation. The first thing you will going to do whenever you join the project, study the existing system and documentation. I highly encourage all of my candidate of BA that whenever you join the project, just read about all the things whatever you will going to learn at the project. If you know about more about the company, it is always beneficiary for you. So this is all things associated with eliciting requirements. We will going to talk about it in the later chapters. This is a very huge and very important topic. Then once you have the requirement, then what you will going to do with that? You analyze. It's a really good movie. The first part was good, the second, probably third was not good. uh, Probably in 80s, analyze this. That is a movie, that is also from remind me from because of the analyze requirements. It's a comedy movie from Robert De Niro. So after once you have all the requirement, you need to prioritize, organize, specify, verify, and validate using an interactive approach. So you will not going to prioritize all the things, but you will going to talk with the people where you can prioritize things. You do understand what is prioritizing, right? So suppose in a project you have 10 things to do. So you have to create some precedence, right? Some has a high precedence, some is, we can do it later, that kind of thing. So yes, yes, correct. So all the SME people, tech associated SME people will going to provide you what is the highest priority things while talking with them. Whether you are when you are gathering the information or after you gather the information, there is a priority. You can ask them, and then after they will going to provide you, and you have to create a documents, analyze document once the requirement is there. This is the fifth. Analyze is the fifth one, I guess. Fifth one, right? One, two, three. This is three. Third one. Analyze requirements is the fifth one. Let's do it on sixth one. Sixth is document and present requirement. Document. Right. Once you analyze the document, you talk with the people, then what you will going to do, you will going to create a proper documentation. Yesterday we talked about some documentation technique, some FRD document, right? So those are the things you will going to create a proper documentation. It includes requirement management planning, by all of the things, we can say business requirement document, process flow, what would be the process flow look like, use cases, graphs, PowerPoint presentation. You One thing I didn't mention probably since yesterday we talked, as a business analyst, you have to do two huge things. The first, no, not two huge things, uh, two huge things. The first, you are good with your communication. You know how to communicate with the people smartly. The second, you has to have really great understanding of documentation. So Microsoft Office, the entire Office suite, you have to ace it. Excel, PowerPoint, Word, everything, and Visio as well. Do you know about Visio? I highly encourage you to go with here or here. Let me send you some link. You can either use Visio, you can or use Lucid Chart. That you have used Lucid Chart. Okay, great. That is a yes, right, right, correct. You will going to end up with, once all the requirement is there, right, you have to create some kind of graphical representation of all the things. Otherwise you will not going to make stakeholders or other business people to understand, because they don't have, first of all, why this is necessary. The necessary thing, because first of all, the people you will going to talk with them, they are super busy people, they don't have a time to go through the documentation and read everything. The second thing, graphical representation will going to save the time for them to see the entire thing and make understand what is going on within some graphs or some flow charts or anything else. And it is more understandable for the human eye, right, rather than going through the documentation. So you have to don't just provide them, create a meeting and illustrate everything. You have to show them, this is what we have planned, this is what I have gathered, this is the flow of the entire project, this is the phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, those kind of stuff. And what would be the, what number we are, 6 7 7. I told you earlier, this is a very necessary and very crucial for business analyst. Communicate all the requirements to the people who is associated with the project, especially stakeholders, right? So you will going to talk with them. So this is communication. And for communication concept, you there are some point I will going to tell you. Communication plan you have to have, how you will going to approach each of the stakeholders and how you will going to talk up with everybody, communication model, how you will going to communicate Effective communication with less word, less meeting, how you can talk with anybody and gather all the information or all the approvals in a less working and more doing manner. Efficient communication, effective and efficient, right? So if effective means, whatever you talk, it is impactable to everybody. And efficient, less talk, more impactable communication. It is not like, you will going to arrange 10 meetings. It doesn't mean you are efficient BA. You can be efficient by arranging one meeting and do all the 10 meetings work. That is the efficiency. Communication method, how do you approach it? Formal, informal communication. Formal would be sending emails and everything. Informal would be send a Slack messages or anything, those kind of stuff. Communication types, what is the method of communication, whether you will going to write a letter or write an email, those kind of things. So it is your thought process, and you have to think about it, think through it, how I will going to communicate. And this is a very, very important thing. I will highly encourage you, if you want to make a career, a good career as a business analyst and ace this thing, you should work on your personality development, start communicate effectively. There are a session you can find online. You have to do it. There are some YouTube videos as well. Your gestures, your body language, everything does matter, right? Because everybody has a skill, so you have to develop some skill. And also, I highly encourage you to understand all the Microsoft suite, Office suite, and Visio or Lucid Chart, whatever you prefer. Start doing that as well. I will not going to teach my student about Excel sheet. That is a very low level thing, right? So the seventh one is process modeling. So process modeling, where you will going to create a model. Modeling is, create a model out of some certain operations, a graphical representation, so everybody can understand. Process modeling is, software development life cycle model, right? We have that. So similarly, when you go deep dive into any project, there are some cases you can put it as a graphical representation, and there is a software engineering methodology to design those graphical representation, so everybody can understand, even a small baby. Use case diagram. What is a use case diagram, right? It is called UML modeling, right? User diagram and all things. Sequential diagram, activity diagram, ER modeling, those kind of things. We will going to talk about it later in a detail. I will going to show you how to create all those modeling and all the graphs and everything. But you have to create in Visio or Lucid Chart by yourself, and you have to learn. It is not that difficult if you know how to operate computer. So FRD, BRD, you have to Google about it. You have to find a template of it, and you have to represent it. Some of your ideas, this is how you build BRD, FRD. It is a discussion, open discussion with everybody. So the advantage of open discussion of things, what we will going to do is, you will get a better understanding, better idea about all the stuff you are working on right now, and you can talk with your teammate about it. So it is more interactive, sharing your ideas, what you Google, what you found. You find something, some good things, right? Probably 10 good things. Abdul will going to find five good things. You can combine both of them. You will end up with 15 good things. Eliminate the negative things. Never, never, ever going to include negative things in your life or in your pockets. It will come later because this is a very early stage to do that kind of thing. But first of all, FRD, right? So you have to understand what is FRD, how to write FRD. There is a methodology to write it. There are probably five or six methodologies. So you have to understand, what is the correct way to do it. You have to first understand what is five methodology to write a documentation, right? Documentation, it doesn't mean that you just write in a word document and then this is a documentation. There is a representation in very few words. How do you define some functionality or some requirements associated with the things? You can include a lot of charts, a lot of graphs in it, diagrams in it. That would be beneficiary. Or you can write a lot of bunch of words, 10, 10 pages of the words, and people will understand. So something like that. What is the efficient way to find about it? So you have to analyze. And why I'm giving you this kind of exercise, I'm making all of you to do analyze things. You will going to end up doing that, and you will going to do it. Make a career out of it. So you have to kind of a think tank. You have to walk and talk think tank rather than just somebody will going to tell you do this or do that. You will be the decision maker, not the decision taker, right? So you have to, if you want to be a leader, you have to act as a leader, not just doing it. The final one is verifying the solution meets the right. The final approach is to verifying the solution. Once everything is there, process modeling, you have created FRD, BRD, everything, project management document, everything. So what's the next step? The next step would be verifying, whether it's correct or not. You have to verify that. So that is essential and necessary for you to understand. Right. So verification will going to come after you create all the documentation. And the verification comes from the ownership. You are not the owner of the project. So who is the owner of the project? Stakeholders. Stakeholders are the owner of the project, right? They are the people. No, not eventually, not every time, CTO or CEO you will going to talk with, right? You will going to talk with, you have to identify first of all stakeholder. I will going to show you how to identify the stakeholders as well. So that come up in the training, or you can see the some of the videos which I already shared with you needed. So stakeholders are the people who is responsible for, they are the owner of the project. The people who is SME, those are the stakeholders. Each of the member of the within a team, that is also part of the stakeholders. And stakeholder who has the money and idea about the project. So you have to chase them and talk with them and get verified the solution is correct or not. So once you have the idea of requirement, once you have the idea how you will going to approach the problem and how do you resolve it, you set the timeline. You will going to create a timeline and everything, that project documentation, and then you will going to arrange a meeting with the stakeholders and illustrate this is how we will going to tackle with the problem with this project. This is the plan. This is a plan we will going to do this project for probably 1 year or 2 year or something like that. So everybody in a sync, everybody lined up. There will be no false expectation or assumption, right, from the stakeholders. So that is necessary. Verifying is necessary, absolute necessary. Okay, I'm just I'm not sure whether I send you the other email. So let me send you this thing. Is Malav. So I send you one link. That is the. Oh, did I send in the email? Okay. Yes, second chapter. Mhm. Because we almost done with the first chapter. There are only one topic is remaining. We already discussed about it, but uh, just going through it, and then we will going to uh, jump to another. What is it called? The slides, PPT slide, because I have created PPT slide for second chapter. So skill and requirement for the good BA, right? We already discussed about it, so we already know about it, all the skills and everything, whatever you need about this. What are those? What are the absolute necessary skills? The first would be the interview skill. So what does it mean interview skill? So you are partially right when you say communication. Yes, it is communication, but you are not just communicate with the people. You are interviewing them. You are talking with them. You are asking questions, right? That's why it's called interview skill. Uh, you will going to talk effectively. Then communication skills and facilitation skills. Facilitation, you are not initiating or you are not doing something on your own. You are providing a facility. You are a facility provider, right? So facilitation is understanding what is a facilitation skill is absolutely crucial for you because you have to understand their thought process. You have to wear their hat and being on their shoes to understand what is their thought process, what kind of things they are doing. They means all the stakeholders, right? So you have to work as uh, another person, not just being yourself. What I will going to do, what is necessary, but you have to understand everybody's thought process, respect everybody's thought process, opinion, and everything, and then choose what is the best out of everything. Documentation. You better have to take notes out of this as well. Documenting. Documentation. Office 360. Um, Visio, Lucid charts, etc., etc., etc. These are the very necessary thing. Analytical skill. Analytical skill. What is analytical skill? So whatever the project I'm providing you to do some research on everything, it will going to enhance or explore your analytical skill, rather not being a person who is the subject matter expert or who knows about the stuff. Explore which is uncharted territory for you, unknown region. Go over there, explore and analyze those things would give you the advantage to understand what's going on with everything, right? And the last but not least, PM skill. So project management skill. You are not working as a project manager, but eventually if you go in this direction as a business analyst, your main objective would be work as a project manager after 4 or 5 or 6 years working as a business analyst. That would be your priority. So I would highly encourage everybody to learn about the project management skill as well. Project, that's why I told everybody yesterday, PMP, you need to understand project management document or project management plan document, and you have to explore about it, right? So these all skill is highly recommended, and this is conclude our first chapter. So if you want to take break, and then we will going to cover three topics from chapter 2 for this one. So if you want to take break, we can take a break for a little bit, have a stretch, you know, drink some water or whatever you want. 5 minutes, okay? 5 minutes.